It's a lot at once, but I'd rather have this than, crazy stuff. So we got to be just grateful. And today I want to talk about friendship. And, when I'm thinking about friendship and what friendship means to me, it's a relationship with somebody. You have a relationship with somebody, but to have a friendship, for me, it has to be a trustworthy person. You want to trust the person that you have a friendship with, because then you have those that are acquaintances, and, you talk, you connect and all that stuff, but I wouldn't consider that a true friendship. And when you're going into a friendship with somebody, it's what you're going to build with them. You're going to build something with them. You're going to go places with them. You're going to let them in to places in your heart. And so for me, I think friendship is very, very important on many levels, in Christianity. Because for me, people that I want to be friends with is people that have things in common with me. If I don't have things in common with them, what am I really going to do with them? We don't like the same things. We don't do the same things. We don't even like to talk about the same things. So I would literally just be sitting there listening. There's not going to be a two-way conversation. So if we're going to go into a friendship with somebody, it's because you have found a common ground. You have found something that, you can work on. And I want to be in Ecclesiastes chapter 4. And, Ecclesiastes talks a lot about everything's meaningless. Everything's vanity. And it's meaningless. But at the same time, there's so much wisdom to gain from some of these things. So Ecclesiastes chapter 4 verse 9, it says, 2 are better than 1 because they have a good reward for their labor. For if they fall, one will lift up his companion, but woe to him who is alone when he falls, for he has no one to help him up. So in the verses before, he was talking about the person who's alone. He's talking about the person who's rich. But yet, he has no heir, he has no brother, he has nobody to share his stuff with. And here, he's saying that it's so important to have fellowship. It's so important to have that fellowship, because in life, when you stumble or when you fall, you want somebody to help you back up. You need somebody that's going to get you back up to your feet. You need those friendships that can come alongside of you and tell you, what are you doing? Get up. It's like, I remember, Pastor Alex, he always checked in on me. But he knew when I was in a really bad time, because I would completely shut down. So I didn't want to talk to nobody. I didn't want to reach out to anybody, right? So I would go into my seclusion. And he would give me 2 days. On the 3rd day, he would call me and he says, that's enough. That's enough. Knock it off and get back on, And if he never would have been like that, I don't know where I would be today. I really don't. You need people in your life that's able to come in when you are at your lowest. You need people in your life that are not afraid to come in beside you and tell you to knock it off. You need people in your life to come and encourage you when you feel defeated. To build you back up when you feel like you've been hit hard. It says, woe to those who are alone. Why? He's not talking about alone like feeling lonely, right? He's talking about you're alone. It's almost like a choice. You bump into those people. You don't have fellowship. You stick to yourself. You don't want to kind of get in with the people. You don't want to let people into your life. Some people prefer to be alone. They prefer to be alone because they really don't want nobody in their life, you know. When you're down, there's nobody to help you. Nobody knows you're down. You know? Why? Because nobody's gotten to know you. Nobody knows how you are. Nobody knows what you need. Nobody knows what you like and don't like. See, when everything is good, they don't feel like they need anybody. They don't want other people bothering them. I'm just living my life. I'm doing my thing. I don't want nobody telling me what to do. I don't want nobody to know what I'm doing. You know, I'm fine. Everything's fine. I don't need anybody and I don't need anything. But yet the day comes when they need help and there's nobody there. See, they didn't think they were going to need help. They didn't think they were going to need help. They isolate themselves. They like to isolate themselves. And you know, they think that's the way it goes. Like, I don't want nobody in this circle. I don't want nobody to be in close. But we all know that one of the biggest strategies of the enemy is to isolate us. That's one of the biggest strategies that he has. Because if he can isolate us and keep us away from the pack per se, we're easy targets. We're the first ones that he comes after when we are down, when we are weak, when we have fell down. We're easy targets. In verse 11, it says, again, if two lie down together, they will keep warm. But how can one be warm alone? Though one may be overpowered by another, two can withstand him, and a threefold cord is not quickly broken. See, the love and the fellowship that we have with those who love God will keep us in a good, safe place. Now, that doesn't mean that we are without trials. That doesn't mean that we're not going to go through things. But what it's saying is that when we have other people around us, when we're surrounded by people that have that same common ground, it's not going to be easy to defeat or overpower you. Let's say you are weak. I mean, we've had friendships in the world, right? We've had those friends. When, you know, you're getting in trouble, you have backup. And you know you have backup, right? You look for those people that you know have your back. The ones that don't have your back are the ones that you don't go looking for, right? I mean, on the street, I hear all of them be like, oh yeah, I'll take a bullet for you. I'll do this, I'll do that. And guess what? When the bullets start flying, who's the first ones to run? First ones to run. I see everybody book it. Nobody is standing in front of them. Nobody is taking that bullet for them. Everybody's trying to save their own life. And then when the homie gets shot, then they go looking for him. But they weren't the ones taking the bullet, right? See, but when you have those types of friends that are going to stick with you, when you have those kinds of friends that are going to be willing to get in the fight with you, your fight, it doesn't mean it's their fight, but they are the type of friends that they're willing to get in your fight with you. Those are the kind of people I like. Because when I'm getting beat up, when I'm getting down, that person is going to come in and they're going to jump in it with me through prayer, through coming alongside of me, through encouragement. They're going to do whatever is needed, and they're not going to allow these things to come and overpower and prevail. See, because now it's not just one person trying to fight this, it's now two people or more. When we have a godly friendship in our life, it's going to help you. It's going to help you because now there is more than just you. You're not alone anymore. See, a lot of times we're going to feel lonely on the inside. We're in a room full of people and we're still never going to feel like we really fit in. We're going to be in a room full of people, it could be Christians, and we can still feel lonely. But when the battle is on, you know who your true friends are, because those are the ones that rise to the occasion. Those are the ones that rise. Those are the ones that come in right beside you. When there is more than two, that's even better. Now you're stronger together. This is why a lot of times they use this verse for marriages, because it's talking about a friendship. It's talking about true companions will help each other. And in marriage, isn't that what it's about? You're not going to allow your spouse to be down. You're going to pick them back up. You're going to help them. You're going to pray for them. You're going to encourage them. But it's the same thing in the fellowship that we have with one another. We have that companionship, true companionship, which will help each other when the other is down. And as we keep Christ as the center, like in a marriage, you have the companionship, you have the friendship. But when you have Christ as the center, who can break that marriage bond? Who can come between your marriage bond? When Christ is in the center, your marriage becomes stronger. Your bond gets stronger. But it's the same with any relationship. Any relationship that we have, if there's a true companionship, a true love, and a genuine love for one another, you're not going to want to see things come in and break your relationship with each other. You're not going to allow things to come and just break those things. You're going to make it stronger. You're going to make the bond stronger. So the thing is when it's broken, that means that you have been separated, right? Now you're pulled apart or you're drawn away. But the thing is when we keep God in the center, when we have genuine love, we're not going to be drawn apart. We're going to be drawn closer. There's a bond. So in Proverbs, you don't have to turn there, but in Proverbs 17:17 it says, a friend loves at all times and a brother is born in adversity. See, you have a friend who cares and will know you and will be around for certain things. Like you have those friends that check in on you. You have those friends that you can have a laugh with. You have those friends you can joke with. You have those friends you can hang around with. But there is a brother that's born in adversity. This is talking about when you're actually in a time of trouble, when you're in anguish, when you're going through afflictions, when you're really in a situation that's super hard. This is when you know who truly, truly loves you. You know, not the idea of friendship, not the idea of love, because, you know, that kind of comes and goes, you know. I've had a lot of relationships in my life come and go. You know, we're super close to the point where you think it's family, you know. But then they get drawn away or things happen, life happens. But you want those kinds of friendships in your life that it goes from just a friendship to a brotherhood. You know, it's a true brotherhood. And in this life, we need it. The ones that draw close to you when you need them the most. That's the kind of people we need to be. We need the kind of people that drawing closer to each other and not further. You know? It's like you see them struggling, like, oh, yeah, sorry about that. And you kind of just keep on walking. That's not what you want. You want to be able to come alongside of them, help them up. There's one friendship in my life that has changed my life. And the friendship that I have has taught me so much about what true friendship is. It has taught me what true faithfulness is. And it's the relationship and the friendship that goes beyond every relationship I have in my life. And that is the friendship of Jesus Christ. He has been the one relationship in my life that has proven his friendship to me. That has proven that he goes beyond just words. He goes beyond what, you know, like those types of people in our life where, you know, they're like, okay, well, I'll pray for you. But do they really? You know? Oh yeah, let's hang out, let's have a good time. And you never do, you know? Or you meet them and it's like, oh my gosh, there was such a connection, but then you forget about him. Jesus has never done that to me. He's been a better friend to me than I have to him. See, because friendship is all about liking the same things. Have I always liked what he wants? No. So that's when I become a horrible friend. You know, I become a horrible friend to him. But he has always showed me that he's going to stick by my side. He has always showed me that he's not going to give up on me. As a matter of fact, he's the only one that has made me stronger. Because I cannot make myself stronger. I don't know how to stand on my own 2 feet. Now, I know how to stand when, like I believe something, right? Somebody's trying to change my mind, or somebody's trying to push me, or somebody's trying to threaten me. It's like, oh no, you didn't, right? That's the only kind of stand up I know how to do. But do I know how to stand up in true adversity? Do I know how to stand up in the face of defeat? Do I know how to stand up in the face when everybody seems to be turning on me? I don't know how to stand up the right way when it comes to those situations. But because of the friendship that he has showed me, he has taught me how to stand up. He has taught me how to rise back to my feet when I feel like I have nothing to give. He has taught me how to stand up and how to believe, and how not to let go of purpose, how not to let go of faith. And he has taught me how to let go of my fears. He has taught me how to overcome. In John 15, this is Jesus, and he's talking to the people, and he's telling them about he is the true vine, and, all these different things. But what I want to close in on is verse 13. It says, greater love has no one than this, than to lay down one's life for his friends. You are my friends if you do whatever I command. I no longer call you servants, for a servant does not know what his master is doing, but I have called you friends, for all things that I heard from my Father I have made known to you. See, Christ calls his disciples his friends. Christ calls those that follow him. Christ calls those that have come to accept his will, have come to obey him. He calls us his friends. And he calls us his friends, and then he says, there is no greater love than this, than for one to lay down his life. That is the greatest expression of love that anybody can give you. If somebody told you, I'm willing to lay down my life for you because I love you that much, and then you actually see them do it, how would you feel about that person? They just saved your life. Would you not feel this gratitude for them? Would you not feel like you're in debt to them? Because they just spared your life. They took the bullet for you. And that is what Jesus did. It's the greatest love, and it's the greatest friendship I have ever encountered. I have never known a friendship like this. I've had many friends who tell me many amazing things. But most of the time, we can't live up to everything we say. We care for them. We love them. But we're talking about laying your life down. See, in Christianity, when we talk about laying our life down, that's what a true friend does. It means you're going to put them above yourself. Jesus was willing to endure all the trials that he had to go through. He was willing to deny his own wants. He was willing to deny his own needs. He was willing to lay down his life so that I can gain the privilege of coming close to him. I gained a privilege because he was willing to deny everything on his behalf. Everything that had to do with him, he was willing to deny it. He lived a life of self-denial while he was here because all along he had those that he loved in his mind. And he did that, and he calls us friends because now he's made us acquainted with his plan. He lets us into his plans. With the disciples, he told them what he came to do. He told them what was going to happen. He told them the Holy Spirit was going to come. He told them everything that the Father wanted. He let them into the plan. See, when you have a true friendship with somebody, they know you more on a personal level, right? They know things you do. They know your interests. They know things you like to, things that you're into, hobbies and that kind of stuff. They know you on a more intimate and more personal level because they are part of your friends. And this is what Jesus is telling us. He's saying, if you come in close, if you are willing to obey me, you're going to be let in close. You're going to know the plans. You're going to be part, and you're going to be acquainted with what God wants, what God desires for our lives. He's going to let us into these different things. And when you're close, you're going to know their heart. You're going to know their heart. See, when you don't really know somebody and they say something, let's say somebody's sarcastic, right? And they say something sarcastic. If you know them and if you're acquainted with them long enough, you're going to get sarcastic right back, right? You're not going to be all offended and get scared and, oh my gosh, did you hear what they said? You're like, nah, that's just them. You know what I mean? You're not going to take it in a bad way. If somebody else on the outside is listening to our conversations, they're like, oh my God, what kind of horrible people are those? They're horrible to each other. You hear the way they talk to them? You hear how they talk to each other. You hear what they said and you hear what their response was. Like, man, they hate each other. Nah, they're just super sarcastic and that's just their love. That's how they are with each other. See, when you have a relationship with somebody, things that they do don't offend you as easily as when you don't know them. Why? Because you know their heart. You know their heart. When you know the heart of Jesus, when our relationship starts to get closer and closer, we start to get to know the heart of God. We begin to understand everything that we go through in this life is to draw us closer to Him. Every trial, every adversity, every heartbreak, everything that we go through in this life is meant to draw us close to Him. It's not meant to draw us away from Him. The only reason why we draw away from Him is because we're no longer in that relationship with Him. We're allowing things to come in and break that bond. The relationship we have with Christ, the friendship we have with Christ should be the friendship that we want to keep on the highest in our list. We never want to let go of that relationship because He laid His life down for me. And because He did that, He's taught me. He's taught me what true love is. I thought I knew what love was in the world. I didn't know what love was. I knew what emotions were. Because when they were good to me, I loved them. And when it wasn't good to me, I didn't like them. That's the only kind of love I knew. But when the love of God came into my life, when the love of God began to change my heart, it began to draw me closer to Him. I began to understand what He desired. Even when people do me wrong, even when I'm in the hardest of situations, even when I don't understand His will and His plan, I choose to trust Him because He's my friend. I I choose to trust him because he has proved his loyalty. He has proved that he wants nothing but good for me. And everything that I've ever gone through from the moment I gave my life to Christ until the moment that I am in today, I look back and I can say that each and every one of those things taught me something. It taught me something. It showed me character. It gave me new strength. I could not gain strength if I didn't go through it. See, now, every time you're in the middle of it, you wish there was another way. You really do. I mean, as a matter of fact, we were joking with somebody the other day. I was joking with them, and, we were like messing around, and they were like, yeah, you're welcome, because we're stubborn and because we're brats, we helped you with the fruits of your spirit, Okay, well, I should be thanking you then, It's like I owe you one. And that's the truth, though. It's the truth. If we don't go through things, it doesn't teach us nothing. If we don't allow ourselves to trust God, no matter what it is that we're facing, how can he show us what his hope is? How can he show us what his love is? How would you learn to love others if all you had around you was people that did everything that was the right way? The way you liked it, The way you like to be loved, the way you like to be talked to, the way that you want things to be done. If everybody did everything the way you like, then how are we going to learn to love the unlovable? Because if we can face it, we're unlovable. You know what I mean? We can be unlovable people. But there was people in our lives that loved us beyond us. Because of their friendship, because they were true to us. They had a loyalty to us. I'm a loyal person. And so when I love somebody, I'm loyal. But I've learned that sometimes my loyalty to people over loyalty to God puts me in some situations that I don't want to be in. So then I turn that around quick. I'm loyal to God. My loyalty is to God. And if anything that comes in, even if it's the people I love, tries to separate this bond, it ain't happening. My loyalty is to him. And because my loyalty is to him, he has helped me in those hard times, in those lonely days, in those days where you just wanted to mourn, or when you needed to cry, or when you needed to, when you didn't even know what to say. You had no words to say. He's helped me in those moments. There's times and things in your life that you go through that are really hard, and nobody has words to give you that will actually encourage you. And it's not because their words are not impactful, it's just because it's the hurt inside of you. But yet, the presence of God has such a way to come in and comfort you and touch your heart like nobody else can. See, because Jesus is my friend, he's taught me. He's taught me what real love is. And love has nothing to do with the way people do things. Love has nothing to do with whether they do things the way I like it or not. Love has everything to do with I have to do the right thing for them, no matter what it costs me. That's love. Because Jesus loved us. He laid his life down no matter the cost. No matter the cost. So today, if we want to know about real friendship, then we need to ask ourselves, what kind of friend are we? Are we the kind of friend that people can rely on only when things are good? Or are we the kind of friend that becomes more like a brother, more like a sister, because we will stick to them in their time of adversity. We're going to go beside them and we're going to join in their fight because they need the help. Are we going to be the people that we watch from afar and hope for the best? Or are we going to be the people that have a loyalty because we have a love and we have a common ground, and the name is Jesus Christ? He's the common ground. He is what connects me and you. He's the connection between us. If I have Jesus Christ inside of me, and if you have Jesus Christ inside of you, then we're connected. And it doesn't matter my opinions, my thoughts, my wants, what I can and can't do. None of that matters. What matters is, what am I willing to do to show somebody that Jesus loves them? Because what if you're the only one that heard Jesus tell you, go stand right beside them? What if you're the only one God told that to? Nobody else is going to stand with them. 2 is better than 1. 2 is better than 1. I know I cannot go through this life alone. I might not have a lot of friends, but I have those friends that are true and that are honest with me. I have those friends that I can trust. Without them, what do I have? What do I have? I have Jesus. But because Jesus is my friend, he sends me people. I can't refuse it and be like, I don't need nobody. That's a straight lie. That's a lie. If that was the case, then Jesus wouldn't be talking about loving each other over and over and over and over and over from the beginning till the end. Why does he have to tell us so much? Because we're willing to drop it. We're willing to drop it. We're willing to give up on each other way too quickly. Way too quickly. We allow things to come in and break these bonds when we shouldn't. If we're learning from Christ, if we have a friendship with him, if we are being obedient, then our spirit will understand that everything that we must do must come from love. Out of love. Not our love. It's the love of God in us. Because our love sucks and nobody wants our love. You know what I mean? We fail when we do it in our love. We will fail each other. No matter how much we want to do right. But when it's God's love, we're going to do what's right by them. Not even what they think is right. We're going to do what's right because that's what God put in us to do. Amen. My Lord, we need you, God.